Jimmy Butler, he's a very interesting player to me.
He's like, oh, shoot, I don't know where to go with the ball because I haven't been able to think.
It was a great series. Game 4 was one of the best games I've ever watched in my entire life. Now LeBron's a 4-time champion, and Anthony Davis gets his first.
It's unacceptable. So happy when the Astros lost because it would definitely be a 2020 thing.
Yeah, I was impressed by their game. Braden Point, Andre Palat, Nikita Kucherov, that was the best line in the playoffs, no doubt.
Stay undefeated when they face the mighty Cowboys with Garrett Gilbert.
Hey everyone, I'm Jared Sandler, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. I'm Kevin, and I am joined by the man. Not sure how he felt about my joke with the Yankees and Vlad Guerrero, but looks like that is not happening for some time, as Vlad Guerrero did sign an extension to stay with the Blue Jays. Austin.
Yeah, 14 years, $500 million. I'm going to check right now to see if there's any opt-outs, but I don't believe there is. Let me check really quickly.
Yeah, and kind of while you talk about that, that was something we were wondered, and I'm kind of surprised it got done early at the season. There were talks of them not on being far different on different marks, but it does look like it's 14 years, $500 million. That's a pretty big amount. How much Soto's is like?
Soto's is definitely a lot more than that.
Yeah,
Soto's I think was 15 years, 715.
It's 765. So okay, yeah,
65.
that kind of okay. So that's not bad given just kind of where it is in sort of the market and just how Guerrero is viewed, because we've talked about it with quarterbacks in the NFL, just like it's always one-upping each other, but it looks like there is a fair amount of like Vlad Guerrero, you are not Juan Soto or close at all. So he gets a $500 million deal.
And it's still 35.714286 per year, and it's going to be every year until he's 40 years old. His age 40 season is the last season, 2039. There is no opt-outs, and it's fully guaranteed. So he's going to get paid $500 million, whether or not he gets injured or whether or not he's released or whatever. He's going to get paid that amount of money. And this may be a little bit early to ask this question because he still has 14 years left on his contract, because it doesn't even come into effect until next year. But do you think Vlad Guerrero Jr. plays out the entirety of his career in Toronto?
I'm going to say no, especially near the end. But I think as long as the Blue Jays are competitive, I think they'll be competitive, or they'll keep him to try to be competitive for 6 or 7 years, maybe 10. But I don't see him staying out the whole entirety of the contract.
Yeah, I it's going to be tough for him to stay throughout the contract. I do think that it'll at least be 4 or 5 years until we see discussions of him getting traded, because I think we're going to be in the honeymoon phase for a couple of years here because there's so long left. But 7 years from now, he'll be, let's say, like 34, 33, 34. Yeah, it'll be 33. And around then's where you start to see some sort of fall off. Some guys are still really good around 33, 34, obviously. But I think you become more concerned about winning more than just staying with the same team. And while I do really appreciate loyalty, you wonder if he's already had these thoughts about leaving now, what will he do if he doesn't have a title by 2032 or whatever, right?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And I think you have to look at the Blue Jays' perspective. I think they like to think of themselves as a big market team. I'm trying to just kind of, we've talked about them in free agency, but I think it is smart they locked down one of their guys because he was a big prospect for them. And he is a good player. It's just, I don't see them spending big on the market to drag someone there. Like they tried, of course, with Ohtani. I think there were talks. Yeah, I think Ohtani was the big one. Then it was like with Yamamoto, but it's really they trade for guys, then sign them. So this kind of just makes sense. You go get someone, and yeah, you have a long tenure with him, but you'll have to see. I could see them trading him near the end or cutting him, because I'm thinking about that Albert Pujols big contract. The Angels ended up cutting him because they were just really bad and they didn't want to pay. They didn't want him on the team, and then he went back to St. Louis.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before I feel like we hear any of the talks regarding him getting traded or released, obviously. But I do agree with you that it's going to take a while probably for him to eventually get moved. But also, I don't think it's going to be hard for him to stay in Toronto the entirety of his career.
Do you think this was a bad deal for the Blue Jays or Vlad to do?
No,
Or
35.7 I think is reasonable. And the fact that you're covering the rest of his career, sure, you may be paying a little bit more, but inflation and everything's going to go up. So it's going to feel, let's just say, instead of 35, it's going to feel like 30 or 28, right? And at that point, as long as he's not horrible, right, it'll be worth it. So I think this is a good deal for the Blue Jays. And then to get the security of a fully guaranteed $500 million contract for Vlad Guerrero, I think it's a good deal for him too. I think it's good for all parties.
yeah, it feels like they just sort of had to do it for both sides. It's like you keep him and Vlad signs there and just gets that paycheck.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so that concludes our video. Let us know your thoughts about the Vlad Guerrero deal, and let us know your thoughts. And we may do videos on in the future about them. Just depends. But thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.